Okay, so orcs are family men now, didn't you know? They have feelings other than rage and hatred. They can love, have wives and children. Fuck, they probably have day jobs as well. The next thing Amazon is going to make is a Lord of the Rings styled rendition of The Office. He probably picked that little Daisy up at his favorite orc diner where he bought her a bowl of that classic spider soup. Can you even comprehend the mating rituals that these fucking creatures have? I had to think about it, now so do you.
Looks like meat's back on the menu, boys!
How about new, you crazy Dutch bastard?
So they have children, so that means that they have a whole society structured around reproducing and training their children, right? Did the orcs have social classes? Do they have other jobs besides being mindless foot soldiers in an army for a giant eyeball? Were there some daycare centers and schools tucked away behind Mount Doom? The scene with this orc is short, but he seems, well, concerned about dying and fighting in a needless war, and his body language communicates that he's concerned for the safety of his family, that he fears leaving them fatherless. So do all the orcs have these concerns? Did this guy have a chick waiting for him back home in Angmar? Or this guy? Or this guy? How about him? Or him? This has so many repercussions on the world, it almost breaks my mind trying to comprehend it. So many of the playful moments of characters killing orcs in both this show and Lord of the Rings are completely recontextualized now. Legolas and Gimli are heartless bastards who deserve nothing more than the fiery pits of hell for not only killing orcs, but enjoying it. They make a fucking contest out of thoughtlessly murdering fathers and sons. Before it wasn't a big deal because these creatures were just a force of mindless evil beings that were bent on destroying the world. Now though, now they are just victims on the wrong side of a conflict that they don't even want to be in. They have aspirations and fears. Real fucking feelings. They're not monsters. They're just people, and apparently we should feel some remorse for them. Or so the show would have you believe. However, they do a poor job sticking to this idea, don't they? With even more context, doesn't this make Galadriel a raving lunatic? The speech she gives to Adar is completely horrifying and evil now that we know that the orcs are pretty much misunderstood people. She uses racial epithets, threatens to torture prisoners, and says that she aims to commit racial genocide.
Your kind was a mistake. Made in mockery. And even if it takes me all of this age, I vow to eradicate every last one of you.
Are we the baddies?
I will whisper in your piked ear that all your offspring are dead, and the scourge of your kind ends with you.
Right.
In one scene, a Rings of Power manages to turn their amazing girl boss savior into a racist, genocidal war criminal. Wonder where I've seen that before.
Dieses Mädel ist mein treues Schätzelein und mein Glück.
This show would have us believe that orcs are something more than just disgusting villains. So now we know that Morgoth enslaved the orcs, made them fight in a war against their will, and when Sauron came to power, they saw him as a tyrant, and they killed him. Are orcs the good guys now?
You cannot believe an Orc could do that. But your entire army could not.
I guess I'm gonna have to explain this, aren't I? Orcs are not people. They are beings corrupted by dark magic, and they are pretty much just a tool to be used by Sauron. They are not only scared of Sauron, he has a deeply rooted spiritual and mental control over them. He has the ability to dominate them with his mind. So no, they would not be second-guessing anything or questioning his leadership. Sauron wouldn't need to bribe or sway them. He pretty much would just need to show up and they would obey him. They don't have families or spare time, they are a weapon. Saruman didn't create the Uruk-hai and send them to trade school so they could get a job and support a family. He gave them an orc cleaver and said, have at it. Changing this breaks the morality of the world.
Taken by the dark powers, tortured and mutilated, a ruined and terrible form of life.
All of the characters that we know to be righteous and just are now in complete question because this show would have us believe that these guys are somehow misunderstood.
Send these foul beasts into the abyss!
Now we could dive even deeper into this and talk about the morality of Tolkien's world, how the writers of this monstrosity think that they understand more about the universe than the man himself, how it not only breaks the lore of Middle-earth, but also the very character development this show is trying to push. But we don't really need to do that because it's not that deep. It's clear that the writers in all their hubris thought that they could add their own shade of complexity to the story. It is just another point in a long list of reasons why these guys are thoughtless children who have done nothing more than set out to destroy a franchise that they are apparently so proud of.
We're really proud of this season. We think the performances that the actors brought are so great this season. There's some amazing filmmaking on behalf of all of our incredible directors, and we're just excited to show people.
You sure about that? You sure about that? You sure about that?
This show is going to fail, and there's nothing they can do to save it from that fate. It is etched in stone. The prophecy has been fulfilled. You think that they'd learn after season 1 that this is not what the fans wanted. We didn't want your edgy take on orcs, or the character assassinations, or your bleak morality and stupid story. We didn't want any of it. And this just shows how ignorant they are. They would destroy a mountain of lore for an entire race of characters, with just a throwaway scene that they probably forgot about after they filmed it. These guys should grab a coffee with Dan and Dave after this show's finally finished, and talk about how to squander the next IP they get their grubby hands on.
No, we made every possible
We've never
mistake.
done this before.
Sorry about that. Why don't you try something fun, like a fun factor, an icebreaker, to help people in so they aren't just instantly pissed off at you?
Well, after all that, I gotta say, she looks kinda hot though.